Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the R Show, weekly show, Wednesday nights, now at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Tonight we are going to be talking about organization with Just Ask Gladys Ramos. And we will hit on, to begin tonight, we're going to hit on the eBay update, just so everybody can talk about it for a bit. So, it's been a while since you've been here, Gladys. Would you like to remind everybody who you are and where they can find you and stuff like that?
Well, hi everybody. Thanks for having me again, Chris. My name is Gladys Ramos, like Chris had told you. I'm in several of the Facebook groups. You probably know me best from Cindy's group, the cost group. I also run my own business page called Just Ask Gladys, where I give, eBay sellers and multi-channel sellers tips and stuff on how to grow their business and stuff. I've been selling on eBay since 2007. So, yeah, that's my background.
And we've had you on twice before, and I think it's been almost been 6 months now.
Yeah.
Since you were on.
Yeah, I've been making my way around the the YouTube world.
And last time you were on, we talked, I think it was SEO.
Yes.
Or was it the product identifiers? One of the two. It's like one of the.
Yeah, the last one was the product identifiers, I believe.
Yep, and the one before that was the SEO.
Yeah.
So I'm sure all of that changed in the last 6 months. Well, one of my first question, of course, is going to be about the update that we all got yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know some of the anchor store people were complaining about their fees going up, even though they're getting a lot of benefits for it. From what I saw, I didn't see anything wrong with any.
Yeah, I was really surprised at how much people were complaining about this spring seller update. And it wasn't just the anchor stores. It was, the people with the basic stores, the people with the premium stores. And I was just like, wait a minute. Have they not read through the whole thing? I'm like, basic stores are only paying $5 more, and they're getting 50 listings more, for fixed price. And then on top of that, they're getting 150 more for the auction format. And then on top of that, they're getting $25 every quarter. So it comes out to $100 every year for eBay branded shipping supplies. So for $5, come on. Like, I don't understand. I really don't. They treated it like it was the sky is falling moment. And it really isn't. If you sit down and you look at what you're getting for the amount that you're spending, it's not that bad at all. I mean, I'm an anchor store, so I'm going to have to pay $120 more a month, but I'm getting 7,500 more listings on top of it, plus 900 in auction, plus $75 every quarter for eBay branded shipping supplies. Plus, if I qualify for the promoted listings, I'll get a credit of $25 per quarter.
Plus,
like,
you get to call the eBay CS.
Yes, exactly. It's like, people, stop trying to find the negative where there isn't a negative. They like to nitpick at just the dumbest things. I don't get it. Like, if you sit down and you do the math, you would have to pay more than what you're paying now if you were to go over your listing allotment. It's all about numbers. Really, I thought, I didn't see not one bad thing in this wholesaler update. But that's just me.
And I got the small store, and I still, a lot of my viewers know what I've been going through, so I haven't really been listing like I should. So I'm still paying for the store.
Right.
even at $19 or $19.95, whatever it is,
Right.
I'm not going to complain for $4 when I'm getting 50 more free listings. So it's basically same price. It's just more listings. Somebody
Right. And
7 point something cents a listing.
right. And for those who didn't sign up for the yearly and they were paying the $19.99 for the monthly, you know, and now with the new rates, it's going to be $24.99 for the monthly and $19.99 for the yearly. So if you were paying the monthly, just sign up for the yearly and you're paying the same price. There's no increase for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, and then for those who were paying the yearly, okay, you have a $5 increase for the basic store. But you're getting 200 listings more plus the $25 every quarter for shipping supplies.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people actually saying they wish eBay would actually add another tier in between the.
Yeah, that was talked about a lot on last year during eBay 20. You know, a lot of sellers had reached out to the eBay staff and they wanted, you know, another tier between premium and anchor because it is a big leap. And I do get that. I do agree with that. There should be, you know, another tier in between there because it's such a far leap between 1,000 listings and 10,000 listings, you know. So I maybe they'll listen. Maybe, you know, this time around they'll actually get on the ball and do another tier.
Joe Panico said, makes you wonder if those sellers really understand their own business. What do you want to complain?
Yeah, you know what? I've always asked myself why people like to approach things in a negative manner. You don't achieve anything by approaching things in a negative manner. If it's just easier to blame eBay than it is to really look at yourself and your business and how you're doing things. You know, eBay's the fall guy. So any little thing that they do, they're always going to be the fall guy because that's the way these people are approaching everything that eBay does.
Yeah. If you don't have it, I'm not seeing any questions on that little bit of a topic. So we'll transition into the actual reason you're here, which is for organization.
Okay.
Okay. Lack of organization is a common trait in some in most resellers, I should say.
I would say in every reseller.
Okay.
We've all seen the pictures that everybody shares on Facebook. We all have a pile of crap everywhere. Let's just keep it real, Chris. You know, even myself and you guys can probably see my wall behind me of all my boxes, nice and neat. But right next to me, you know, I went to Goodwill. Not that I needed to go to Goodwill, and there's a stack of, you know, games and other stuff. That's a big mess. So even though, you know, you're organized, you're always going to have some kind of, you know, mess. It's just part of the business. It's part of what we do. It's hard to be 100% organized all the time. That's not the eBay. That's not the eBay world. That's not the eBay business, because you're constantly sourcing. You know, when you come home from a day of sourcing, you're tired. You don't want to deal with having to put this away somewhere, or you run out of room because of lack of space. You know, so you're always going to have some kind of mess. The trick is getting yourself to a routine where, okay, today I'm tired. I just came home from sourcing. I was out all day. You know, I'll deal with this tomorrow and try and make it, put it away or whatever. But there's always going to be a mess because that's just part of the business.
Coco Chanel made a comment. She loves how you have your bubble wrap hung.
Oh, yep. I use plumber's, what is that? PVC piping. That's what I use. I zip tied it to the shelf and threw the bubble wrap up there. It holds 3 rows.
Well, the part of the question that I was getting to was what are the first few steps that you can suggest to somebody that might get them, besides getting into a routine, but at least get them thinking about what they should do first?
Well, the first thing is you have to figure out where you're going to keep everything. What's going to be your eBay room, your dedicated space. Okay, because you need a dedicated space for it. Mine's is my living room. This is my living room. And you know, I sat down in the middle of the room before I started, and I looked around, see how much space I actually had, and I planned it out on a piece of paper. Okay, I figured, okay, the wall's gonna hold all of the boxes, the products, the list of stuff, and the shipping area, which is right here behind me. My desk is gonna be forward, you know, and I just try to maximize every inch of the space that I have, because it is a small space. I didn't want it anywhere else in the house, so everything had to fit in here. So the second thing is to evaluate the system that you're going to put in place. A lot of sellers still use the plastic bins, and that's fine if that's what you want to use. But the problem that comes with the plastic bins is you buy whatever bin is on sale, or you found it in a garage sale, whatever. So they're all different sizes, shapes, right? And what happens with that is they take up a lot of space. Okay. I rather have the banker boxes because it's more uniformed. It takes up less space, and about 20 bins will fit in one entire rack. So you'd be amazed how much space a banker box provides. So uniformity and making sure you're using the right tools, whether it's banker boxes or bins of the same size and shape, and your shelving. I can't tell you how important the shelving is. A lot of sellers, and I was one of them, still use the plastic shelving. I hate those shelves because they're not adjustable. You can only fit 1 or 2 bins on the damn things, and then you have all this negative space. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. You know, I have a small space, so I have to make sure that I use every inch of that shelving. So, you know, I don't know if you guys can see it. So there's 3 banker boxes across, and then right next to it, it's a blue shoe box that I put because I had, like, you know, about 8 inches left. So I make sure that I utilize every space of that shelving, and it goes from floor to ceiling because I do have a small space. If I were to do that with the bins, there's no way I could get 2,000 items in this room, not with the bins. So you got to figure out what you're going to use and what system you're going to use, because the goal really is to be, you know, 5 seconds away from your item. Because what's the point of being organized if you still can't find it? That was the other problem I was having with the bins, was you can fit so much in a bin, then you can't lift it and carry it, right? And I got tennis elbow, so I couldn't do the bins anymore, you know. And every time something sold, why was it always in the bottom bin? So I had to unstack, grab the bottom bin, and start doing this, trying to look for the item. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of time, a waste of space. It was driving me crazy. You know, I'd spend, you know, 20, 30 minutes looking for one item, and I couldn't handle it anymore. So, you know, I came up with the banker boxes, and I love my system. It's so easy. I can grab the box and just go with it, you know.
Well, I get a couple of comments that I want to read off before we get to the first question I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Drifting for Time Freedom says, I'm already impressed by seeing your organization in the background.
Oh, thank you. It was hard work to get here. Let me tell you, it wasn't overnight. I struggle just like those pictures you see everybody posting on Facebook with the piles of stuff everywhere and bins everywhere. And yeah, I had the same struggles as you guys.
And Owen Wolf says, Gladys, I want you to know I saw your video and started a custom column on eBay. Don't have the storage yet, but feeling good about the idea of organization.
Oh, cool. I'm glad I was able to help you.
And let's see them. Dustin Saunders has a question. Said, Gladys, how many items per box and how do you find each item?
It depends on what items they're putting in the boxes. Like if it's the mugs, I can fit usually 24 mugs in one banker box. The way I find it is I use eBay's custom label field. Let me go into my eBay and then I'll share the screen so you guys can see.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna do a couple of shout outs.
Okay.
We have Jody Kramer, Joe Panico, which I already said, Golden Finger Picker, Leisure Picker, Steven Scroggins, Dustin Saunders, Nellie, who was a guest a couple weeks ago, The Albatross, Coco Chanel, Owen Wolf, Debbie Keith, and like I said, Drifting at Time Freedom. I think this is the first time you've been here. I want to thank you for being here. And I think that's, oh, and Dawn under her Harley Woman. Nikki. So, okay, you can do your screen share.
Okay, I'm coming. You guys being very slow today. Here we go. Screen share. All right, you guys see this?
I'm seeing it, so I'll keep
all right,
cool while you're talking, no?
All right, so here's the custom label field on eBay. Before you can actually find it, you have to actually set it up. So I'm in the seller hub, so mine is going to look a little different than some of you who don't have the seller hub. But I'll guide you in a minute. Just let me go through this one first. So on the seller hub, you go over to customize, you click customize, and then you come down here where it says custom label field, make sure it's checked off, and then you hit apply. Then it's going to refresh the page and you'll be able to have this field right here. Let me go down to here. All right, so here it says add. So you click on it and then you just type in, you know, whatever box you have it in or bin you have it in, and you hit save. That is how easy it is to use. And this is for the ones that are active. These are already sold, so when it sells, I know exactly where it's at. It just pops up right here. Now, if I go to active listings, here's the custom label field. These I didn't put on there because I moved some stuff over, and these I already know where they're at. but let me go here.
And while you're waiting for that, I'll answer. We have a question from Golden Finger. He said, "Have we met Gladys?" Yes, Chad. Gladys,
yeah, Chad.
Gladys has been on for a couple of times already. This is her third time on.
I was in his show.
Oh yeah, and I guess yes. Well, there you go, Chad. You had Gladys on your show 1 week too.
Yeah.
When you were doing what show? I think it
was about the RSS feed.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been, Chad. And that was 6 months since she's been on here. So
yeah. So here's the custom label field, you know, in your active listings. And again, you just click on it, and you can change it, save it. It's really easy to use. If you're creating the listing, and I'll go in here real quick. It's actually in the listing itself. So if you know ahead of time what box you're going to put it in, you can go ahead and put it in there while you're listing. So here it is right here, custom label. So I already knew this one was oversized box that wasn't going to fit inside the banker's box, so that's why I put top shelf. So it's really easy to use and to set up. So for those of you who don't have the seller hub, you want to go into your active listings. Once you're in your active listings, over to the right, just like here on the seller hub, you're going to see customize, and you're going to click that. And again, once that box pops up, make sure that you have the custom label field checked off, and then hit apply. It's a little bit of a different view, but it's the same concept, the same steps. And then for those of you who have Selling Manager and Selling Manager Pro, you don't need to have a store to use the custom label field. But for those of you who have Selling Manager and Selling Manager Pro, without the store, you still have the custom label field. The only thing that you cannot do if you have Selling Manager is search by custom label. If you have Selling Manager Pro, you can do a search by custom label. And what I love about this is that, you know, I can put in box 24, and everything that's in box number 24 is going to pop up right here. So when I'm doing inventory, which I recommend everybody does inventory twice a year, I do one in February and I do one in September before the 4th quarter. And I don't even do it. I have my 9-year-old do it. So I'll sit her here and she'll just type in, you know, whatever box she's working on. So she'll grab box number 24. This shows her everything that's in box 24. So she'll just go down the list and check off as she's, you know, grabbing the items from box 24 to make sure that everything that's listed here is in that box 24. Occasionally, she might find something that's in box 24 that's not on the list. Usually when that happens is that I sold something and the buyer changed their mind, so I had to do a cancellation and I forgot to relist it. Or it was a return and I put it back in the box, but I forgot to relist it. So yeah, she'll put those aside, you know, for me, and I'll investigate them. But yeah, doing inventory with this is so easy. For those of you who have Selling Manager and can't do the search via the custom label field like that, that's not a problem. You can still do inventory. All you have to do is click right here on the custom label field. Just click it and it'll sort it in order. So let's go see what it does. Okay. Oh, no, still. Sorry about that. eBay. Come on. Thank you. All right. Why are you being a pain in the butt, eBay? It keeps going back to 24 even though I erased it. Come on.
These people, not just us newbies and low sellers that have issues with eBay.
Exactly.
There you go. I think that one's.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe not.
Well, while you're trying to fix that, we have another question from Joe Panico.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know, do you have a particular method of computer tracking and cataloging your inventory, spreadsheet, page description, software, etc.?
Negative. No. I don't do the spreadsheet. I don't have time to list and try to keep this done try to get my orders out, try to be a mom, and try to do a spreadsheet. I don't have the time. There's just no way. So I depend on eBay's custom label field. Yeah, so here it'll put them all in order for you. And all you need to do is go, you know, one by one down the line.
Let's see. I have another question from Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know, how does that work with your box numbers 1 through 44 I see behind you?
Simple. Let me grab one of these. All right, so this is B11. Oh, I guess I got to show you guys. Hold on. Stop sharing. It won't let me stop sharing. Oh, there we go. Am I back? Am I back now, Chris?
Yep.
All right. All right, so here's this bin. It says B11 on it. And what I do is I go into my active items, you know, when I'm listing. I know that these are all ties. So if I listed a Ralph Lauren tie, you know, I know I'm going to put it in B11. So the custom label field is going to say B11. Now, for the ties, I go a little further. Let me show you guys. I put them in these Ziploc bags, and each Ziploc bag has its own number. So on the custom label field for this, it'll say B11/19. So I know that when it sells, I'm looking for tie number 19. So I just go into the bin and look through the numbers real quick and just grab tie 19. And it'll show me that when it sells on the custom label field.
Dwayne, not Dwayne, sorry. Hey, Dwayne, by the way, I noticed you're late again. Dustin says, I don't have a store. If I don't have a store, I do not have the same page display. What am I missing?
Do you have Selling Manager?
I will have to wait to see if he answers that one.
Yeah, because Selling Manager is free for all sellers if you don't have a store.
And Crazy Coyote, I think you're new to the show. Thank you for coming and watching. Says, I just utilized the custom label field today to get my inventory set up. Works awesome.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Dustin answered with a no.
He doesn't have Selling Manager? Look, go Google Selling Manager and type in Selling Manager eBay, and it'll bring you to a link where you can sign up for Selling Manager for free.
I suggest that all sellers on eBay use it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great tool.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for another question from the viewers, what do you feel are the best tools to get organized with?
Oh, I'm going to be biased. The banker boxes and the metal shelving, the wire metal shelving that I get from eBay. You know, I like that shelving because it's wider. It's 48 inches wide by 72 and 18 deep. So the banker's boxes fit on there nicely. It's got 6 shelves. It's got wheels, so if I want to wheel it around, I can wheel them around, move it around. What I really love about it is since the shelves are adjustable, I can adjust all the shelves to the size of the banker box, so I'm not wasting any space whatsoever. I'm, you know, maximizing my space.
Coco Chanel says that's the shelving she uses. So, And like, okay, now this might be a hard question to answer. I'm not sure, but what are some of the pitfalls that we have to watch out for when you're organizing your space? 'Cause I know each space is different, so it's hard to say.
Right.
Hey,
Right. I mean, you just have to make sure that you measure and plan it well. You you definitely want to use the right tools for it. The one thing that you really need to be aware of is your shelving. That's the crucial part, because that's where everything is gonna sit on, right? If you're not using the right tools for the job, then it's not gonna get done. I like these shelving because, right now I'm selling, smaller stuff, so it's awesome for the banker boxes and stuff. But maybe a few years from now, I'll start using bigger stuff, so I can adjust the shelves to whatever size I need them. That's the one thing that I love about the shelving. They're adjustable. The plastic shelving is not, you're just stuck with whatever size it is. So I wanted to make sure that if I was going to invest, a few more bucks than paying for the plastic shelves, that it was going to be the shelving that was going to grow with me, that I could use down the road, not just for here right now. So I would say the shelving is the one thing where all sellers go wrong, because they go for the cheap shelving from Walmart because it was, $40 or $30 versus, spending a few more bucks and getting the metal ones that hold way more than the plastic ones, by the way.
so okay, we know a couple of sellers that used to or do have warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
How do you suggest they organize that so it's a streamlined business, so they don't have to worry about zigzagging through all the hallways that they make to get to their product in time?
Wow, I wish I had a warehouse. If I had a warehouse, I'd be using all the walls. All the walls are across the whole warehouse. Put everything up against the wall. Versus putting it in the middle, as in, like aisles.
Okay.
And just making sure that you mark each of your locations. If you have a warehouse, then you have the room and the capabilities of saying, okay, all the clothing is on this side, all the houseware stuff is on this side, all of the collectibles is on this side, and then mark, the areas. T-shirts is in shelving 1 through 3. Men's casual shirts are in 4 through 6. You can mark your locations.
Okay, we have a question from Chad. Golden Finger Picker wants to know, how do you turn your red door blue?
You hold your breath, Chad.
Okay, we have another question from Joe Panico. Wants to know, I am constantly searching shipping supplies for better deals. Any resource you favor?
No, I'm if Walmart has a deal on banker boxes, that's where I'm gonna go. If Staples has a better deal, that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go where I can stretch my money the most.
Okay, we have a question from Alvin Smith. He says, where do you get your showings directly from?
eBay.
Okay.
They're usually on sale every so often through eBay deals. So just keep a lookout.
Let's see. Chris Connors wants to know, so is the free selling manager help you guys out? Do you see a difference in sales? Because he was asking about the price before when he said how much was it. The Pro is $15 a month.
Yeah, the Pro is $15 a month, and the selling manager by itself is free for everyone. I would just get the free one. If you have a store, then you should already have Selling Manager Pro.
Okay, Fishing and Picking said, I bought metal shells from Lowe's back in October. Free discount codes. Google. Oh, he's telling people where he got things for food from Lowe's with a discount from Google. So, okay, Dustin and Chad. Dustin, you got it. Everybody jokes around with Chad on his show. I'm allowed. I'm okay with him playing around with me. It's to lighten up the mood and stuff. I know everybody's trying to learn. So, and Coco Chanel gave out an eBay item number for the shells she purchased. They have them cheapest right now. Item number 1816601311865. So for anybody that wants. So anybody that watches after the fact, look at that eBay item and you'll see what they're going for. And Fishing says they have $20 off 100 for Lowe's. So that's $20 off a $100 item.
I got mine's for $59.99 shipped.
And Coco says, no, she's not affiliated with him. So, all right, while we're waiting for any more questions, well, I can ask that. What types of tips did you wish to know to avoid? Or no, wait. Yeah, what do you wish to know to avoid reorganization? Like, because sometimes you get something else in and you're like, okay, wait, we got to rearrange something to make sure everything fits. So it's because of headache, especially when you have all those boxes nice and neat and you get under the shelf, you're like, okay, where am I going to fit this in here?
I work with the space that I have. If it doesn't fit in one box, it's going to fit in another box. And if it doesn't, then it's living on the top of the shelf.
Okay. Nose Picker wants to know, how do you manage your inventory? Okay, wait. You already covered this, but if you want to repeat yourself, what goes where?
Wherever it fits. I do try to keep, all the ties together in the shoe boxes. I try to keep, all the mugs together in the boxes that I have assigned for the mugs. But for everything else is, wherever there's room.
Okay. And okay, already quick. Now this is not necessarily going to be about your space, but how do you organize the photos so you can find them later? Say accidentally eBay deletes one of your listings or something like that. Do you use Dropbox or something like that with a folder?
I use Google Photos. It's free. And you can put them into folders. Where do I take pictures? I take pictures right in my shipping area is where I take pictures.
And we have another question from Joe Panico. Says, there's always a lot of questions and conversations about shipping. Can you talk a little about your preferred methods and why, Gladys?
I always use the post office. I mostly ship first class. Shipping, I've never had a problem with shipping. I ship worldwide. Yeah, the most I ship is first class.
Okay.
And shipping doesn't take me long because, you know, I use the custom label field, so I know exactly where it is. So I'm like 5 seconds away from just going to whatever box it's in and pulling the item out and shipping it. And that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that, because, you know, time is money, right? And you don't want to spend 20, 30 minutes looking for an item, because guess what? You just wasted the profit that you just made from that item because you wasted so much time looking for that item. So if you're not 5 seconds away from grabbing your item and shipping it, then your system is not as streamlined as you want. It took me a long time to get it this streamlined, where I'm literally 5 seconds from grabbing the item, walking over here to my shipping table and shipping it.
Okay, we have a question. Wait, Crazy Coyote says, "Very cool. Thank you for the item number for the shelves. That is exactly what I've been looking for. I've been stacking plastic bins on top of each other." So.
Yeah, I feel you, Crazy Coyote. I've been there. Never again.
Okay, Steven Strogan said, "I would try to find a store that then go out and get their shelves." So I guess he's talking like a regular store, see what shelves they use, and go try finding those. They got to buy them in bulk, and you might not have enough room. Chris Piles wants to know, are you only eBay or Amazon as well?
eBay, Amazon, Bonanza.
Okay.
Multi-seller. I don't believe in putting my eggs in one basket.
Tell you multi-fulfill on Amazon type of thing? Like maybe you put some of your eBays, instead of listing them on eBay, you list them on Amazon, and then when they sell on eBay.
I list all my items on Amazon. So I merchant fulfill. I haven't tried FBA yet.
Okay. Have you ever had the same item to sell twice on like Amazon and eBay at the same within a day of each other?
No. I'm on top of that. I have the apps on my phone, so if I'm not home and something sells on one, then I can go ahead and delete it from the other one. Bonanza does not count. Hey, I will take the 2 or 3 sales that I get from Bonanza every month, because that's 2 or 3 sales that I didn't get somewhere else.
Well, here we go back to Red Door and stuff. That Crazy wants to know, does the Red Door mean that you were throttled? I've seen it happen when I've made sales. I had the Red Door, so I can't. I don't think there's no conspiracy.
I make sales whether it's red, blue, pink, whether the door's there or not. No, I haven't tried selling on Mercari. I do have a friend who does sell on there and loves it. I just haven't had the time to get to that point.
Okay. Neo says, "A month, you mean a year?" Okay. Dustin wants to know, how long have you had your system in place versus what you had previously?
4 or 5 years.
Okay. Let's see, just talking about the door. No other. Okay, well, in that 4 to 5 years, how long did it take you to actually get that all set up? It looks like it would take at least a day and a half to maybe 2, depending. When you're having a kid, it might take.
It took me a while because I bought one shelf, and then I bought some banker boxes, and then the next month I bought another shelf, and I bought some more banker boxes. So it took me a while to get it set up, and to streamline it to the point where I'm 5 seconds away from shipping any item. That took me a few months, because before I had all this the way it is, it had taken over the whole house. You know, I was sleeping with merchandise under my bed, my closets. I would go in to get a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and I had to fight with the eBay stuff that was in there. It was in my dining room, my living room. It was in every place of the house except for the bathroom. And that's because I had it all in bins and that stupid plastic shelving. But you know, and the shipping, you know, I was doing the shipping over in the dining room. So I was constantly walking, and I was like, okay, this is not working, because I'm constantly walking. Where did I put it? Was it in the room? Was it in this closet? Was it over here? Was it? I was wasting so much time that my profit was being eaten by the time that I was wasting, you know? So I had to make a choice. It was either the sofa that wasn't paying any rent, or it was take over the whole entire living room and know that my rent is going to be paid every month because everything is living all in the same area. And I started fiddling with it, you know, trying to streamline it as best as I could. You know, I had shipping supplies all over the place as well. And I thought, you know what, I can just buy one of the shelves and use it to put to house all of my my shipping supplies, you know, because I should be within arm's reach of everything that I need, that I use on a daily basis. So, you know, I got another shelf, and I put all the shipping supplies on there. I put the table. So I made sure that everything was in arm's reach, easily accessible. And that's how I made it as streamlined as I possibly could. It has been a lot of work to get it this way. It's not a lot of work to maintain it. And it's so easy to use. Anybody can come in here and take over for me if you know, if I end up in the hospital or whatever, God forbid. Knock on wood.
Or your daughter can just take over and say, okay, I know where everything is.
Yeah, you know, Sarah's 9 years old, and God bless her. She wants to learn how to do everything. You know, she helped me get this the way it is. And she helped me with the mug problem I had. And I'll show you guys that because I pulled it. I used to store my mugs in the banker boxes, right? And what I did was I put, you know, mugs at the bottom, and then I put a piece of cardboard and then throw the rest of the mugs on top. And I had her doing inventory for me. A few years ago, I think it was, oops, sorry, I got disconnected. I think it was 2 years ago. I had her doing inventory for me, and at that time, I think I had probably 200 mugs. And so the poor thing was doing inventory, and she was like, she had to take out each mug from the top just to get to the ones to the bottom. And she's like, Mom, this is not working. And I was like, well, I don't know what else to do, because I don't want to put just 12 mugs in a banker box, and then that's a waste of space, you know? So she thought about it for a whole week. I had forgotten all about it. She thought about it for a whole week. Came back, I was at my desk listing some stuff, and she's like, Mom, I know what we can do. We can do like your tool chest thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, your tool chest, you know how it has that tray and you can get to the tools at the bottom? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, for the mugs. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, she wants to do a tray for the banker box? So I didn't think that was going to work, because for the tool tray, it has a handle in the middle. And I was like, well, if the mugs are going to be on the side, it's going to collapse on me, right? But that wasn't her idea. Her idea was to do the tray, but to put the handles on the side. So I'm going to attempt to show you guys this. Let's see. All right. So she made this tray for me. Okay. Y'all see that, Chris?
I see it.
All right. And it fits right inside of the banker box, and it slides right on out, you know, and I can get to the ones on the bottom very easily. So here's the ones at the bottom. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. So she invented that for me, made it for me, and it works like a charm. So if one of them sells, you know, from the bottom, it's easy. It's easier than me having to take every single one out. So she helps me a lot when it comes to the eBay stuff and keeping everything organized.
I have a couple comments I wanted to read off, and then a couple questions. The first comment is by Chad. I totally need to get my inventory organized. It goes to crap every couple of months. You know, he used a different word. Oh, Chad, if you can go out all the time, you gotta get. You wouldn't have to worry about getting it organized. We get all the good stuff, so who's gonna complain?
I know he finds all the good stuff, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He finds the coolest crap all the time.
Crazy Coyote wants to know, do you use global shipping, Gladys?
No, I am not a fan of the global shipping. It just costs too much, and you can't send first class.
Dustin wants to know, do you mind sharing the square footage of space in your room so others know what you can operate out of?
Oh, shit. I don't know how big this living room is. 10 maybe by 15. I mean, there's a video on my page. I'll have to find it again, but there is a video on my Just Ask Gladys page where I show the entire living room.
Oh, let's see. Ronnie Hart showed up under Heart Pickers. He says Kim gets all Chad's good stuff. Yeah, Ronnie said, so that's 150 square feet, roughly, that you work out of.
I guess.
Neo says, Gladys, your daughter is so smart. Could you use the Christmas bulb storage? But I think it's bins as well.
I don't know if that would work because the bulbs are smaller and the mugs are, you know, some of these mugs are bigger. I mean, you could try it, but.
Okay. But Crazy Coyote says, they had a Corinne Stein sell on Etsy and on eBay the same hour. Taught them a lesson. Yeah, that's what I was asking about before when you said you sell on all your items on the same.
Yeah, I haven't run into that.
Let's see. So I was asking Ronnie when he got here. He said he's listening, what was shipping, and who was listening. And you can only do one thing at a time. I'm not seeing any more questions. Now you ran out because some of mine were answered in some of your other answers. So, oh, there's another one from Joe Panico. Is there an eBay show coming up in Vegas? I heard there is.
Yeah, I heard it was announced yesterday. I'm not sure if they're gonna call it eBay Live, but I know that they're gonna do something with the eBay radio party. I guess they're gonna do one big thing over there.
Yeah, I think it's May 26th to the 29th.
No, not May. It's in July. July 28th and 29th, I believe.
Oh, okay. I thought it said May. Okay.
Do I sell shoes? No, I do not sell shoes. I have sold shoes before, and what I do is I just put them in a plastic bag, put a number on the plastic bag, and put them in a bin or a box.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joni. I missed your question earlier. She asked, what type of items do you sell?
Collectibles, mostly vintage collectibles, toys, comic books, coffee mugs. I'll sell ties. I do have a few Hawaiian shirts and t-shirts that I picked up. I'm not a clothing seller, but I do like that type of item, so I'm gonna start listing those soon.
Now you have to make room for your hangers for your clothes.
No hangers. I am not hanging. I am using the banker box. And let me show you. So since I have, no room and everything has to live in here, this is how I'm going to do mine. Can you see this? Because I can't see.
Yep.
All right. So, I'll fold my shirt and I will label it with the number. And that's going to be the number that I use on the custom label field. So it'll be box 8. What box number is this? Yeah, box 8. And then it'll be whatever number I assign to the shirt itself. For the plastic bags, I just go to Walmart and I get these bagel bags from Walmart. There's 100 of them, and they're the nice size to fit your shirt in, nice and folded. Put in the banker box and call it a day.
Yeah, Panika said that I think I need to buy stock in the banker box manufacturers.
I get them from Staples when they're on sale 10 for 10. And one time they had them on clearance, and I got them for 50 cents a box.
Wow.
Yeah, so I cleaned them out.
I'm gonna have to take a look at Staples when I usually get one of those cards for like $20 off or whatever, and it's like I just go spend the $20 and I get everything I get for free. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if I love selling ties either myself. Anything that's easy to ship, I love to sell. Mugs are easy to ship, ties.
No more questions yet. While I wait, I give them some time to see if there's any more questions. I want to thank Gladys for being on again.
Anytime, Chris.
I know it's been a while, and we haven't talked as often as we used to when I first started the shows. And you've been busy, I've been busy.
Yeah.
We gotta get back into talking more often.
I know, right? It's been a crazy few months here.
And just so everybody knows, Gladys actually is interested in possibly being on my Sunday night series one of these times as well in the future. So as you can tell, I'm going to get that show more lined up than I am this show. I don't have a guest lined up for next week yet, but we'll see. If anybody wants to come on with a certain topic, let me know. You know how to get a hold of me on Facebook, on my page, on PMs. Or if you want to see the cat that keeps wanting to be petted.
How do I like to ship my mugs? Stephen, I use the FOMO method, except that I put a twist to it. I don't wrap the mug in a box. I actually put it in a box and stick the box inside the priority mail mailer from USPS.
And we had another question from Owen Wolf wants to know, how do you track your expenses?
That I do have a spreadsheet for. It's very bare bones, just whatever I need to put on there. And I'll make a copy of it and I'll put all my receipts for that week there.
Let's see, I'm not seeing anything else yet. Well, since it's been a while since you've been on, Gladys, do you have any questions for me?
What have you been up to? Like, seriously, not woke up one day and you had 2 shows.
Well, I went to a show over on back in November till Wednesday nights, and then people were wondering what had nothing to do for Sundays, and I'm like, well, do I really want to start another show? And then I did. I started doing what I called the admin point of view show, where I would take topics from groups that I was admin in and I talk about it, and then got to where I had a co-host, so we changed the name from that to Sunday Night Live with the Picker Boys, doing basically the same thing. And then when he because of health issues and wasn't able to continue being on the show, I just decided to keep the Sunday Night Live, and I changed the name. I wanted to start a new series so people get to know people without them necessarily being reselling. So I did the My Life series, which I just had the second episode Sunday. And depending on how he feels, the co-host was supposed to be on this Sunday. If not, I already have somebody else lined up as a backup. So.
Gotcha. That's good. I like the idea of the that series. I think you get to know people on a deeper level.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that. Ronnie made a comment. He has to quit the Friday night show. I said, hell no. Because they both have a show now. Ronnie has the Pickers Church on his channel on Tuesday nights, and Chad.
Yeah, I got to get back onto these shows. I've been so busy. I have, I used to watch Chad's show all the time, and I haven't had time. Man, life happens, It just keeps getting in the way.
Well, you guys, you talk about more money. Well, any more questions for Gladys before I end this? I don't know if I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do an after show. I'm glad I had at least 30 plus viewers throughout the whole night. So thanks for watching. And thanks for all the good questions.
That's right, Chad. It is. And I'm sure it's crazy busy for you, Chad. You just had a granddaughter, didn't you?
Yep. He actually showed a picture of her working with him already.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
I guess he wants to come in because he said, sure, you will do an after show. I'll do it, Chad, if you come in for a little while. I know it's only an Joni wants to know where she can find you again.
Just ask Gladys on Facebook.
And I don't know how often you want people private messaging you at your regular name. So unless you want to get that out.
Oh, Gladys Ramos on Facebook. It doesn't matter to me, whichever way.
Well, kind of some people will send messages and say, I had a guy sending me a couple of messages on my page, and I'm like, I sent you a private message with the video that you asked for. There's private message on private message for them, but page, yes, not for the friends list. So, let's see. Crazy Coyote says, going to sign up now, Gladys. Thank you. So.
Okay, I'll see you there, Crazy.
And Gladys, why don't you type in in the chat so they can subscribe to you if they haven't already? Because you did do a video on this during my show Sunday, but we crossed paths, but that's okay. So it's basically had the same topic, but you might have different things that you didn't say here that you said there. Right. So. And Chad says he will pop in. If you want to stick around, Gladys, for a little while for an after show. I don't know what you have to do tomorrow morning and all that. So.
Sure, I'll be on.
Okay, so thanks everybody for watching. And I will send the link into the chat here, and then I will sign in and put it into the group. So if you don't see it in chat, look for it in the group and hope we have space for you. Thanks again for watching.